Hawaii is My Mainland. I'm Kaui Lucas, and this is the video version of my online blog at kauilucas.com. The blog is also named Hawaii is My Mainland. And I have different segments. One of them has been terribly neglected. That's the green eggs and spam category. But today, we have another episode in the green eggs and spam category. Today I have agripreneur extraordinaire. I mean, this guy is all over the place, but in a good way and seemingly pretty productively in the small ag world, where my heart is for Hawaii. So Rob Barreca has came to Hawaii to be a web designer doing IT, and got bitten by the ag bug, and didn't have a big background in ag.
Yeah, not really. My grandpa, back in Michigan, farmed potatoes and corn, but yeah, parents definitely not farmers, and yeah, I'd always been interested in being a conscious consumer, and interested in where my food came from to some extent, but yeah, I never thought I would make the 180 from web design to being in a production farm or doing anything sort of food farm related. Yeah.
But you went, and somehow you found that here in Hawaii we have a program for teaching people how to farm who didn't inherit it, didn't grow up on the Aina and growing food. Called Go Farm. So how did that work?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to, when I was actually doing my web design IT career, I was up in Manoa and living close to SOFT, which is a student organic farm training plot. It's a really cool, underutilized part of CTAR, I would think. But did a couple volunteer days there because it was literally behind our back fence, and yeah, was taken under the wing of one of the directors of SOFT at the time, which is Gabe Sachter-Smith, Banana Gabe.
Yes,
everybody knows
Banana
him.
Gabe.
And so yeah, I got a little taste of kind of market gardening and just learning a bit about actual growing. And I think, yeah, Gabe, and then somebody else that most people out there probably know, Justine Espiritu.
Yes, she has this show on Think Tech Hawaii. Yes.
Yeah, so both of them had independently told me about Go Farm Hawaii being a new farmer training program, and I, had a little interest in moving away from my web design career and just getting more involved with food and farming. And after Justine graduated from the program, she said, you absolutely have to do this if you can find the time to go check it out. And I did, and I'm super thankful that, I took her advice.
Well, we have a little clip from the official Go Farm video, and let's have a peek at that.
Go Farm is a program that allows you to transition from whatever you're currently doing to whatever you want to do. And what you want to do is farming.
La'amealan is a graduate of Go Farm Hawaii, a beginning farmer training program at the University of Hawaii, open to all adults.
I work in an office for a family company, and I wanted to get into farming for a few years, but never really had access to land or even to where to begin learning. And I found that this was a direction that I could take.
Go Farm Hawaii's mission is to increase locally grown produce and strengthen Hawaii's food economy. But to do that, you need skilled, knowledgeable farmers. Go Farm Hawaii is currently the most comprehensive farmer training program offered in the state, offering hands-on training in production and business, focused on developing new, sustainable, commercial farmers for Hawaii.
That's what was awesome about this program for me, was that it was no cost and that it was geared to a part-time student and somebody that, we could commit to doing something in the future for Hawaii and giving back to our community. through agriculture.
You're not next to a farmer that's been in there for 20 years looking at you like you're a dummy. We all gotta start somewhere, and we all start knowing nothing.
Go Farm Hawaii classes and fieldwork are offered at locations across Hawaii, and the main phases include Ag School, which is about 4 months, and Ag Pro, which is about 6 months. An optional Ag Incubator phase lets graduates farm on program-provided land to further practice their craft and establish their businesses.
This is the weed here, and this is my little daikon. As we progressed in the program, we started off at Winter Community College. We had a small little plot, more like a home garden, which they taught us the basics in. And then we moved out here to the Ag Station in Waimanalo, where we each got 1/8 of an acre, and it was pretty much a reality check for all of us. Like, this is really what commercial farming is. You got a big piece of property, and you have to be able to produce.
Everybody sees the bloom, everybody sees the flower when they go to the market, right? And so that's the attraction, but they don't see the prep and the planting and the dealing with problems and the dealing with pests, the dealing with everything that can go wrong along the way. I would say it's challenging in every facet.
Oh, you sweat, boy. Let me tell you, you sweat. But you end up learning how to make things easier, yeah? You become inventive. That's what's cool about it. Okay, there's gotta be an easier way to do this. And then you search and you find out. And then you also have coaches.
Go Farm prepares us in a few different aspects. One is the science aspect of it, teaching us how to do soil samples and testing the pH of your soil, all the way down to bug identification and how to look up information on the CTAR website about what to do with these pests and how to treat them.
Go Farm Hawaii students are also trained in business management, agricultural financing, and marketing.
They teach you everything that has to do with commercial farming from A to Z.
Yeah, we even got to see you in the last couple of pictures,
Yeah,
Rob.
I was holding the money. You can see where my head is.
Holding the money, okay. So that is one of the big things, right? Of farming, there's the whole soil and plant and the lusciousness of growing food, and then there's the whole business side of it. Do you feel like the Go Farm was a pretty good incubator for that?
Absolutely, and I think that's the part, at least for me, and it seemed like for other people too, like that's the part that is most shocking, because you always hear like, oh, farming's so hard, like and whenever I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds super hard to be out in the sun and pulling weeds, and you must get like sore at the end of the day. And I mean, that's part of it, but when I think about farming being hard, I don't think about the production or the weeding or the actual growing of food. It's all this other stuff that you need to do to actually survive. And I mean, marketing is a huge one, and Go Farm totally, from the beginning of, I think in Ag School, but especially in Ag Pro, which is like the second phase of the program, they really like drive that home, that this marketing part isn't just this tiny little portion of your business. I mean, this is a huge, half, if not more, of the time in the farm is really doing the marketing side. So they do help prepare you for that business planning and learning how to interact with restaurants and make sure you have clear communication and where to market your things and setting prices and all that stuff.
So you took that and somehow, you're made it happen with the Mahai'ai matchup that you now have access to land. I mean, that's the other big thing that is often a stumbling block. So can you talk a little bit about the whole Mahai'ai matchup adventure?
Totally.
School?
Totally, yeah. So the Mahai'ai matchup business plan competition, and it's held every year more or less, and I think they just accepted this year's initial applications. But yeah, we going through Go Farm, you can get to the incubator phase where you have a small plot, but then it's that next phase of, okay, if I do want to continue expanding, where do I go? And I mean, there's a lot of options, but while
Yeah.
I was,
There are a lot of options?
I mean, well, there are different ways you can go. I mean, you can try to pursue a Department of Ag lease. So yeah, let me rephrase. There's different types of options. So Department of Ag lease, trying to work with a private landowner to, you know, maybe sublease some land. But when I was going through the second phase of Go Farm, I think Stephen Chang and Jay and Nora, who are farm coaches in the program, let everybody know about the business plan competition, the Mahai'ai matchup. And so yeah, applied for that. And this first phase is just an application of, you know, just give a synopsis of your idea. And so our plan was, because in Go Farm, we'd been, you know, growing and selling fresh produce, but also messing around with fermenting foods. So growing daikon radish and making kimchi out of it, or growing fennel and making fermented, I think it's your favorite, the fig and fennel relish. So, and it's a nice complement to farming and just doing the fresh produce thing. So we presented a business plan idea of combining the production, you know, growing the vegetables, as well as doing what they call value-added processing. So taking those vegetables and turning them into fermented foods. And we went through the process, and we're so stoked and so fortunate to have gotten second place, which means we got $15,000 for startup funds, and then 5 years free lease rent on a 5-acre ag parcel in Haleiwa.
Wow. And how's that gone?
Yeah, I mean,
Do you have seeds in the ground?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're very close. So, you know, working with any sort of large organization, things move a little more slowly than you'd like. And we were so excited and eager to get going last January. So that was January 2015 when we found out that we won, and we're making plans. And we actually didn't pursue the Go Farm Ag Incubator program because we were looking forward to getting on this piece of land. And you know, it took over 13 months to kind of get this piece of land cleared and ready for us to get on, and that happened 2 weeks ago. So we have this fresh,
Yay.
cleared piece of land, and now we're doing the big thinking and planning and putting in irrigation infrastructure and prepping the soil and all these things. So it's been up and down, but we're at a high right now.
I wanted to find out. So this is, by the way, it's the Mahai'ai, MAHIAI matchup program, and all of the details will be on my follow-up blog at kawilukas.com. If anybody's interested, I'll have all the links. But so you won the Mahai'ai matchup, which is this program that Kamehameha Schools gets the winners, people who have really sat there and made a very well thought out business plan, and to put them on the dirt to make it happen. And like you say, I mean, that is the real world, you know, that some things don't always happen, you know, when we think they're going to happen. So you have this, how many acres?
So it's a 5-acre parcel in Haleiwa.
And you have it for 5 years without paying lease rent?
Exactly.
Does it come with water?
So we have to cover the water. We have Board of Water Supply water meters. So we have like city and county water that you get at your house. So it's potable water, which is nice. But yeah, we need to pay for our water usage and work with the Board of Water Supply to get an agricultural water rate exemption. I mean, like we were talking about before about marketing.
Yeah.
All these non-production related things. I mean, just dealing with figuring out how to navigate working with the Board of Water Supply, or who you contact if you're trying to get electricity, and how that whole process works. I mean, and also the Department of Health. I mean, they're all very different organizations, and that's been the most just head-scratching part of it. You know, is I feel like you can go on the internet and talk to people to learn about how to, you know, create compost or produce food, grow vegetables, and do all these things, but there's no one-stop shop to figure out how to navigate working with the government.
But you are proof positive that it's possible. And Rob, we're going to take a little break and then talk some more about starting a farm in Hawaii, growing food.
Aloha, this is Maria Mera, and I'm here to invite you to my bilingual show, Viva Hawaii on Think Tech Hawaii, every other Monday at 3 p.m. We're here to inform, motivate, and entertain you. Join us. Hola, soy María Mera y estoy aquí para invitaros a mi show bilingüe Viva Hawaii en Think Tech Hawaii cada 2 lunes a las 3 de la tarde. Estamos aquí para informaros, motivaros y entreteneros. Apuntaros.
Aloha, my name is Justina Spiritu, and I'm the co-host of Hawaii Farmers Series. This is my co-host, Matthew Johnson, and you can catch us every Thursday at 4 p.m. at thinktechhawaii.com. What do we talk about, Matt?
So on Hawaii Farmers Series, we're going to be bringing on the farmers and also supporter of farmers, including restaurants, caterers, as well as government supporters and nonprofits to hear their background stories and understanding our local ag community just a little bit better.
Yeah, essentially there's a lot more that goes into farming and the local food community beyond just producing the food. And we want to feature and get the background story on all these folks and see how we all work together as a community. So join us every Thursday. Aloha.
Welcome back to Hawaii is My Mainland. I'm Kaui Lucas, and with me today is farmer and agripreneur, amazing, all the different things. We're going to hear about the things besides actual farming that Rob is into. So you learned how to farm, you got the land, there was some time before you actually got to get on the dirt, and so you kept really busy and used your IT skills, it seems like, with creating an online system for ordering from producers. So can you tell us about FarmLink?
Yeah, so I come from a tech background, and it was part of my leaving the tech startup world was just kind of over that lifestyle, sitting at the computer for 10 hours a day. But I could never sort of shake it. So when I was in Go Farm, there was probably about 10 of us in my particular cohort, like our class. Mm-hmm. And part of the requirement at Go Farm, which is really cool, they require you to really sell your stuff to restaurants. It's not just like, figure out how to grow it and then take it home. Excuse me, take it home and feed your family or your friends, which that happens a lot too. So all of us are, learning how to market and work with restaurants, and they really help you a lot through that. But you're just calling restaurants or they're texting you, and 10 of us farmers are trying to sell to like the same restaurant, and we're cross-ordering, and it was just, so much time, and we screwed up a bunch. And I gotta say, a lot of the restaurants that support that program and buy produce from us are very patient.
How do you sell? By the pound?
Yeah, most of what we sell is by the pound. Some people sell by the bunch for like leafy greens. Do
you have a minimum order? We're looking at a little.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so FarmLink is a marketplace website where a bunch of small farmers all across Oahu can list their weekly availability. Like you can see on the screen now, Kahumana Organic Farm is on there. There's Papa's Pride, a guy named Andy who's in the Go Farm incubator selling stuff. So kind of all variety and size of farms. And so coming from a tech background, we launched this website called FarmLink Hawaii, where people can post their weekly availability. And it's just a much clearer, less time-consuming way for restaurants or supermarkets to go on, see what's available that week without having to text anybody or call anybody, and be able to purchase from multiple farms in one place.
So this is more or less a wholesale kind of level, or is this isn't a CSA?
Correct. Yeah, this isn't a CSA, although potentially, at some point we'll be able to offer CSA baskets on there. But it is mostly, there's no strict order minimum requirement or something that says you have to be a restaurant or supermarket. We've had some people approach us saying they want to organize a group buy for their neighborhood. So we're totally open to that as well. But we're small, and it helps if the order is like $100 minimum. And we do charge a delivery fee to try and pay the person that's driving, pay for our rental refrigerated van and things like that.
So you mentioned to me before the show that one of the local businesses that's been really supportive has been Foodland, that they are willing to experiment with smaller amounts and have different crops. I think I get to experience that because I live close to a Foodland, and we get stuff like rambutan and eggplant, egg fruit, and things that I don't recognize, but I'm willing to try. The sapote, different kinds, and yeah, it's really great. So, and I just found out they're from you.
Well, we can't claim credit for all of them, but yeah, some of those weird and delicious and interesting items are from us. Oh, there's some.
And there's some olena.
That's some olena we actually grew, on our farm. But yeah, Foodland has been really amazing. They heard about us in a kind of newspaper write-up about Go Farm and FarmLink, and they said, "Hey, look, we're trying to source as much locally as we can, and we like being able to see, what's available per week, and being able to just have one source where we can order from a lot of small farmers at once." So yeah, they've been ordering a lot of different items and been working with us a lot in our growing phase, and we're still figuring things out, as you can imagine.
So just because we had that wonderful picture of olena, which also known as turmeric, and one of the best anti-inflammatories, and I know that it's only seasonal, and I was actually thinking, man, maybe I should buy a big box of that so I have enough to keep throughout the year, because it doesn't, the growing season's not.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people will plant that February, March, April, and then harvest around December, January. So that seems like it's sort of triggered by. Actually, no one really can answer me how it's exactly triggered. But regardless of when you plant it, it'll start. You get the most rhizome production, and it starts kind of dying off. I think around January, February. But yeah, that's another item that a lot of people have been selling on FarmLink. And I was actually traveling in the Pacific Northwest for an organic seed growers conference, and we went and visited a bunch of there's a lot of people doing like fermentation and cool value-added stuff out there. And I found out that all these people are actually buying olena or buying turmeric mostly from Hawaii, and they're shipping it over there because you can't grow it out there.
Wow,
So
that's great.
I felt kind of
Woo-hoo!
stoked that
Right.
it's the novelty crop.
So you mentioned you said the O word, one of my favorites, organic.
Oh, I did. Statement olena.
So are you currently growing organic? Are you in your new Mahai'ai matchup? Are you going to be doing organic farming?
Yeah, so although Go Farm Hawaii isn't, they're kind of agnostic. They let the student decide which way they want to grow. But, most everybody that goes through the program is interested in growing organically and possibly being certified organic, and ourselves included. So, yeah, on our Mahai'ai matchup plot, we're actually working with the NRCS right now, Natural Resources Conservation's S. It's just
Service.
an S. Service. Okay, there we go. Because they have a lot of really awesome reimbursement programs. So they'll reimburse you for just good ecological ag practices.
Cover crops.
Cover cropping, doing windbreak, soil conservation, but also you can get reimbursed for a very large percentage, if not all of it, through an NRCS program. So right now we're just starting on this new farm plot, and we're going through, it's called transition to organic. So we do plan on being certified organic on the farm and having our value-added products certified organic.
So right now, because is it because of the soil history, or is it just you're starting fresh and it's just the process for being certified organic? Do you have to go through the transition of being not organic to organic, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think they just, that's just kind of the label of the program, but it's not necessarily that, the land actually that we're getting onto has been fallow at least for 5 years.
Okay,
and it was,
so you're clear, you don't have to go.
Yeah, it was irrigated sugarcane like 15 years ago, and so you just need that 3-year clearance so that nobody's sprayed anything there. But we're still gonna get soil tests and
soil conservation, what kind of soil conservation would you do that would
Yeah,
qualify?
I mean, I think a big thing that I find it really interesting too, there's a lot of talk about cover crops. It's where you plant a non-edible cash crop. Well, sometimes it could be edible, but so something's growing and feeding the soil and adding organic matter to the soil. So there's lots of people talking about cover cropping now. And even the USDA, I just saw this in a slideshow, you sort of think of these big governmental organizations kind of being monolithic and like not up with the times on maybe agroecological practices. But even the USDA, if you look around on their website, they say the worst thing for a farm area, or worst thing for any area, is to have bare soil. Because when you have plants in the soil, they're feeding the biology in the soil, and in turn it's this cycle that helps reduce erosion, create more organic matter in the soil, create a healthy biological ecosystem and all this stuff. So you have this big governmental organization saying you should not have bare soil, you should be doing these cover crop practices. So yeah, cover cropping is definitely a big thing. We're going to implement that a lot, producing our own compost, experimenting with less tillage, reduced tillage practices to, basically just reduce the amount of bare soil we have.
Bare soil.
Yeah.
So another one of your projects is the Friends with Farms. We'll take a break right now, but in a few little while, but you can give us a little heads up on how that kind of played into this network of agripreneurial projects.
That is your favorite word. I love it. So Friends with Farm was a cooperative and kind of spearheaded by one of the guys that was on the Go Farm video, Mahai'ai Lun, and Sean Anderson of Green Rose Farm, and actually a lot of Waimanalo and Go Farm alumni. But yeah, it's a farming cooperative, and it's an official co-op organization, and we've just started this foundation to help share costs at selling at the farmers market and collaborate. And we've got a ton of ideas and directions that we want to take it. But it's just a strong farming co-op foundation that we're gonna
Yay,
keep taking
Rob!
places.
Yay, all of you for getting it together.
I didn't do much work on that. But
Well, you're part of it, and we're going to take a little break now and come back and talk about some more of the good stuff you're doing.
Aloha! Hello, my name is Patrick Bratton. I'm host of Global Connections here at ThinkTech Hawaii. We broadcast live every Thursday at 1 p.m. We bring Hawaii to the world and the world to Hawaii, talking about international events and various things of interest to the audience. Please join me. I look forward to talking with you and having you get to meet some of my guests. Aloha.
Aloha, my name is Kirsten Baumgart Turner, and I'm the host of Sustainable Hawaii at thinktechhawaii.com. We air live on the internet and also on Oceanic Channel 16. I'd invite you to come for a fresh new show every Tuesday from 12 to 1 o'clock. I try to bring on guests that give us a different viewpoint on aspects of sustainability in Hawaii, as well as trying to unpack some of the difficult concepts of measuring and achieving sustainability, particularly with regard to sustainable economic growth and prosperity in Hawaii. Please join us every Tuesday from 12 to 1 p.m. Mahalo, aloha.
Welcome back to Hawaii is My Mainland. Today we have Rob Barreca talking about what it's like to start a farm and all kinds of interesting other businesses that are part of being a farmer. It's way more than just planting and harvesting. And with his web background, he started FarmLink, which is a way for restaurants and other larger orders to buy from small farms. And now, finally, his very own counterculture, food and ferments, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what do we got?
Yeah, so counterculture it's kind of this business that came out of being in the Go Farm program and not doing a super great job at planning and knowing where I was going to sell my daikon radish when I planted, 100 feet of it. And yeah, I think fermented foods have started to, there's more of a buzz around them, and I started getting interested in them. And
yeah, fermented tempeh. Oh, tempeh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's the year
Yum.
of tempeh, for sure. So yeah, just having all this produce and not, having done the best job trying to market that fresh produce to restaurants. So we started messing around with making kimchi out of daikon and out of cabbage, Napa cabbage and fermenting.
Some kind of musubi.
Oh, that is an amazing one. That's our chef extraordinaire, Larnie Ghetto. That
what is that?
You have to try one.
I'm
not even saying that just because it's going to cost you $5. But so this has two of our products in it. One is the daikon pear kimchi, and so that's from daikon that we grow on the North Shore. And the second is, one of the images that was you saw that Jenga stack of tempeh. Tempeh is an Indonesian bean patty, super umami and delicious. And we make this out of organic soybeans, but you can really make it out of any bean and or grain. So Larnie has a chorizo spice mix, what you'd use for like chorizo, like pork. But we fry the tempeh up and scramble it with the chorizo spice mix with the daikon pear kimchi, and then put it in a musubi, which most people are familiar with, Spam musubi. And it is ridiculously good, and I eat them every week, and I've never gotten sick of them, but I hear it's possible.
That is one of my favorite names, the kraut chi. That's very good. I don't know who does your naming, but hats off. Really, they're really good. So you don't have a picture of my personal favorite, and I'm only saying that because I think it's actually the only one of your things that I've tried, but I'm so in love with it. It's like, so I got my counterculture fennel and fig chutney at the Waimanalo Co-op, but where else do you sell?
Yeah, right now you can find some stuff at the Waimanalo Market Co-op, which is actually an awesome, thriving, moving and shaking business in Waimanalo. And right now we're just doing 2 farmers markets. We're at the Waimea Valley Farmers Market on Thursday, and then the Pearl Ridge Market on Saturday, but also through the Friends with Farms Cooperative, which we're a member. We sell some of our stuff at the Kailua Market on Sunday, and then I think tomorrow we'll be at the Friends with Farms Cooperative is having its first day at the Kaka'ako Farmers Market. So super farmers market heavy. This year we'll definitely be taking the steps to get our stuff into hopefully some restaurants and some small markets, hopefully Kokua Market and Celestial on the North Shore, and maybe even larger supermarkets if Foodland or Whole Foods. We're still pretty small, doing small batches and refining recipes and stuff, so we're working our way up there. But
So, like, what would a typical batch be?
yeah, right now, grow like 150. Our whole philosophy is like we want to be growing as much of our own ingredients as possible on our own farm. So the goal is 100%. There's some things that you just can't really grow, like garlic here. Nobody's cracked
Doesn't
that.
work.
And we're not going to harvest the sea salt yet.
Or the rice.
Yeah, or the rice yet.
Probably not the nori.
Yeah. So there's a few things, but like we try and grow at least one or two, at least the main bulk ingredients. So like for the daikon pear kimchi, like the pears, we're getting organic pears from the mainland, but we're growing all the daikon ourselves. So, our last so many batches have been about 150, 200 pounds of daikon. And then we take that and, we process it, and it's, a really long process because we're still acquiring kitchen equipment to help us through the time, yeah.
And are you doing this through the Friends with Farm, or is this counterculture is kind of, I guess we don't have to draw lines, do we? We really don't have to draw lines, because really the point of this is we're an island, I almost said nation, not yet, but we're an island state, and we need to learn to share and pool resources and just grow as much as we can and just make as much of our own food as we can. So this idea of Friends with Farms is allowing producers to come together and have a presence at the farmer's market without each one of you doing it separately?
Yeah, so that's kind of the first goal of it. It is, Sean and Co from Green Rose Farm, they've been at the Kailua Farmers Market, every Sunday for a long time. But then more and more people were coming online in Waimanalo, and we realized, well, actually, yeah, it was Sean and company. They were allowing other people they were taking produce from other people and saying, hey, if you don't have the money or the resources or time to have your own 10 by 10 foot booth at the farmer's market, I'll sell it for you at my table, and maybe you can chip in to help for the booth fee and all that. And so he was doing it sort of informally, just out of the goodness and collaboration of his own heart, yeah. And realized, hey, there's enough people, like maybe we could formalize this and actually create a co-op where we can all rotate labor and sharing these expenses, all these fixed costs. So it kind of came out of that, and yeah, we're hoping to expand that collaboration, because it's so great. Every time we have a meeting, all of us, we get together and we realize everybody has the same, very similar vision, and all these resources that we want to share. It's just, there's the devil's in the details. You got to figure out how some of this collaboration and sharing work. But yeah, we have great aspirations to share more and more equipment and oh God, where'd you guys get that? I didn't send you that picture.
That isn't my fault. Zuri, our tech wizardess, has found that.
That was
2 points. So
one other thing about Go Farm is they ask you to do, I don't know what it's at now, but for our cohort, you have to get sell, I think it's 50 CSA bags. And so the CSA is like the community supported agriculture model, and basically means a mixed bag of vegetables for every week or every other week. So you learn how to develop your production planning skills, so you can be planting things so you have a nice variety for your customers every week. So that was one of my CSA marketing photos that I sent out to people. It didn't really work too well.
So where do you, in our last couple minutes, Rob, just give us a vision of ag in Hawaii? Share, I mean, obviously you're enormously capable and creative. Where should we as a community really be putting our supportive energy?
Yeah, and I mean, I have a very limited perspective from my small ag angle, but
no apologies.
I mean,
Go for it.
I think programs like Go Farm are amazing. I mean, that really is the point where I went from kind of flailing and not really knowing how to do or what I wanted to do or how to do it. So Go Farm Hawaii like totally took me from that phase to kind of the market gardener phase, where you have a small plot and you can sell to restaurants and you can grow things, sort of all of the skills. Oh man, you're just blowing me up right now. I gotta check my online presence. But I think the next phase.
It's all good.
I think the next phase, after you leave Go Farm, it's you have to be creative. And so I think there's a lot we can do on the larger systemic level of, talking with the Department of Ag and getting more land leases available through them. I think there's a lot of land out there, but I think there's a reluctance to lease to people that you don't know if they're really truly going to do ag, and then maybe they're afraid of having to kick them off the land if they're allowing people to live on the land. But I think more, of the policy level, organizational level things, like we need to be able to live on or close to the land and have reasonable rents.
Thank you for bringing that up. That is the #1 issue, getting farmers on land, because you can't wake up on the other side of the island from your farm. You can't. You got to be able to be there when the buggies are munching and the wind is blowing and the rain is coming. And,
So I definitely think talking with the Department of Ag, talking with private landowners like Kamehameha Schools, or even larger existing farms. Maybe they're even conventional farms, but they have corners of their property that they'd be willing to sublease. But I mean, you look at Google Maps and you see there's a lot of land that probably was once in ag and is just kind of sitting fallow. And yeah, talking to the people in control of that land, to allowing us to, even if it's put me in a tiny house with wheels on it, if you don't like what I'm doing, write it in the contract that you can pull me and just tow me out of there if that's what makes you feel better. But
that is a great idea.
Yeah,
and I have a friend who's building some tiny homes out in Mahai'ai, who's friends with farmers. So
cool.
we've just incubated yet another.
Yeah.
So what's it like now that you are a real farmer? Is it super fun? Is it or is it not what you thought it would be? Or
it's both. It's definitely both. But I mean, I go to bed. I get to the end of each day and it gets dark, and I'm so bummed out that it's dark and I have to go to sleep and wait till I get to wake up the next day to start doing it again. So I mean, there's not enough hours in the day for all the stuff that you need to do and that I want to do. So it's the greatest lifestyle. For sure.
Rob, thank you for coming downtown and spending one of those precious hours of daylight in Hawaii with us here at Think Tech on Hawaii is My Mainland. I wish you all good things.
Oh, thanks, Callie. It's fun.
I forgot to make an apology for that. Right, Stephen saying.